Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I did get in 3 new sets of Jake the Snake Roberts figures from Hasstel Toys, Grapplers and Gimmicks. So we are going to take a look at the newest release from the company and see how they mash up to one of my oldest recognized figures from childhood, the Hasbro Jake Roberts. Now, before we get into the actual Hasstel Toys review, I do want to take a look at this old figure as well. So, generally, when I do reviews or when I do a breakdown, I pretty much say that Jake Roberts Series 1 Hasbro, among the Hasbro figures, this is probably one of the top 10 worst Hasbro figures provided. But here's the thing. I've always said that there was really nothing wrong with this particular figure. It's just that Hasbro in general was such a loaded company with so many amazing figures that even a decent or a great figure could potentially be among your list of top 10 worst action figures ever, right? And Jake Roberts with the rubbery Damien snake, of course, probably the best accessory from the line, if not second best. I think I still classify Honky Tonk Man's guitar as probably my favorite among the Hasbros. But a very simple figure, arm punching motion, and as a kid, using the feet for kicks and drop kicks and all that, it was such an important piece. And like I said, the Series 1 Jake Roberts was one of those figures from childhood, right? Nostalgia. And nostalgia plays a huge role. And that's why today I do kind of want to start off with the Green Trunks release from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So, does he blend in beautifully with the original figure? As far as head sculpt, you know, for 1990s technology, this was actually pretty good. But head sculpt wise, it looks like a solid piece. Looks just like Jake. Beautiful artwork on the side. One of the things I would have liked with the 3 sets of Jake Roberts, you know, when you look at like, what's a good example? The British Bulldogs or the newest released Diesel figures. They give you, you know, here's the 91 British Bulldog, the 92 Bulldog, 95, 96, 97, etc., right? So I kind of would have liked something like that to be on the back of this card, where they don't all just simply say Jake the Snake Roberts, where it might tell you, okay, this is Jake Roberts in 1990, this is him in 91 gear, this is him in 92 gear, etc. So I kind of feel like they missed the mark in that respect by missing that little attribute. But is it the greatest or the most important imperative information ever? Of course not. It's just something that I become accustomed with Hasstel Toys by them releasing certain figures, but with certain eras attached to said figure. On the back of this, you also see a Jean-Pierre Lafitte. So that's the pirate. I got the pirate figure, but I only got one on card, so I never did a full-on review for that figure because I didn't have the loose one to talk about, right? Dan Spivey, which was a pretty good one, and Quang. I got both of his variants, but they're both carded, no loose figures, so I never actually did a full-on review for that one either. But this is your carded figure. Now, Jake Roberts. Off of the card. First thing I want to do is put my hands on this snake. So it does feel, I mean, it is rubbery, so it will move. And I love the fact that it's extra big, so it like literally wraps around the entire body. And the way that it situates on the hand, beautiful. I think they did one of the greatest jobs with the snake accessory that you could have ever imagined. Do I like the snake better than the original Hasbro? No. I think that the Hasbro Jake Roberts snake, Damien, we'll just call him Damien from here on out, it's probably still done the most perfect. It's still done to perfection. But head sculpt is great. The fighting pose is adequate. They kind of give you like these little, you know, little teacup arms. You know, when you look at Hasbro's and you look at Series 7 and Series 11 Crush, Scott Steiner, the Series 3 and Series 8 Mr. Perfect, etc., right? They kind of have like that one extra arm, like super wide out there, and then the other arm sort of like that little teacup where when you kind of lower it, again, they call it teacup arms because of it looks like an actual teacup. And not a full-on teacup, but it's, I mean, no, it pretty much is. And do I have an example? So like here is Series 3 Mr. Perfect, right? And that's pretty much what you're getting from these type of figures. That sort of teacup arm. For those viewers who don't know what teacup means, I just want to kind of clarify. Graphics. I like the head on the back. The red on the pants, they're, you know, it's a snake, it's fine. But I like that a lot. That right there is a beauty. And one of my favorite aspects about the original Hasbro Jake Roberts was always the boots. I think the boots were like among my favorite boots of the entire Hasbro line. And, you know, they kind of keep it flowing with the new release from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So, not quite the same color pattern that in Hasbro. And of course, Hasbro figures are much larger, much wider. But then when you look at like the 2016 to present Mattel Retros. Mattel Retros are retro for the fact that they are mimicking, that they are supposed to be the direct descendants of the WWF Hasbros in the 1990s, right? But you put Mattel Retros side by side with the Hasbro figure in the 90s, those retros are going to be larger, the bodies are going to be wider, so they don't exactly do the greatest job in the world at mimicking Hasbro. Very close. They have that action feature, which is beautiful, but that's about it. I still feel like Grapplers and Gimmicks, even though the figures sometimes can be a lot smaller, they do the best job, in my opinion, at mimicking the original Hasbro line. So, wrists nice and tight, and I always gotta check that because a lot of time those things do kind of swivel. Not so much with G&G, but with like Zombie Sailors, for example, huge downgrade. Head nice and tight. This is just a beauty. Really enjoyed the green pants Jake Roberts. But they also came out with a second variant, which is Jake Roberts. And even though the snake is probably going to stay wrapped around his body, they also give you the second baggie, right? Secondary accessory and that baggie is part of every single figure, so that's pretty awesome. So, hand-wise, you know, the hand is slightly open so that he can hold the snake, right, on the right hand side. But when you look at the right hand side, there we go. The right hand, they take that open hand sort of and kind of, you know, give you a little finger pointer, which no matter what action figure you're looking at, anytime you got that thumbs up or that finger pointing, it bothers me. Only because you always feel like as kids, you look at your Series 1 Big Boss Man, the little pointer finger, that thing broke off. Your British Bulldogs or your Hulk Hogan with the open hand, slamming motion, those fingers break, you know, as well. When you're sitting in your kid, you're playing with these and you're aggressive with your action figures as a kid, right? You're slamming them on the ground. Yeah, those things do break. Hasstel Toys and a lot of these companies are really good at making these as solid as can be, so that if you do give them to your kids and they do bounce them all over the place, they are not going to break, or at least not break as easily. But when you look at these LJN style figures from Latuni and Big Rubber Guys, when you look at these Hasbro style figures from Zombie Sailors, which again, don't recommend, Grapplers and Gimmicks, Wrestle Something Wrestler, Premier Wrestling. They got this new line I just saw on Facebook today. Someone working with retro figures in the indie circuit, which I thought was okay. My buddy Bone Breaking Action, he kind of mentioned the same thing with my own action figure line, is to kind of get some of these indie wrestlers. So it's nice that, you know, these guys are getting their recognition, right? They're not on this big major platform like WWF, right? So, or even AEW for that matter, which is, they're all branded together. So, but Jake Roberts in white pants. I like that graphic a lot. It looks like they stick with the exact same pants, or the exact same boots, with the snakeskin boots. So I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it looks like the graphics on the pants, yeah, they look like it's about the same. Left leg, right leg. Again, back to teacup arm on the left-hand side. Maybe if they stretch this arm out instead of being this close, you know, maybe put it out a little bit more. Maybe it would give you a more of a playable action figure. But when you're looking at all these different lines, there's a reason it says adults only, or it says 18 plus. These are not intended for children, right? Those guys that grew up in the 80s and 90s and had this stuff as kids, there's a reason we collect these nowadays. We are a fan of the wrestlers. We are a fan of these old things that we had as kids. And we want to really relive some of those nostalgic memories. And so here is the white pants Jake Roberts snake. And you can wrap around his body, which I'll probably end up doing at the end of this video. I mean, it's a nice rubbery snake, but I still think I prefer the original Hasbro. It's thinner, the rubber felt thinner and more flimsy, so I kind of like that a lot better for the particular snake accessory. Generally, you hear the word flimsy, you don't think, okay, that's not made to quality, but no. The flimsiness of the accessory, it's what makes this one of the best. The rubber on this snake, I mean, it's stiff, so you're going to have a lot of trouble, like, you know, unwrapping these and whatnot. So, but that is Jake Roberts in white pants. And probably my favorite of the bunch is Jake Roberts with this black and, you know, sort of fire on the pants. I do have I have many Jake Roberts customs, but one of my Jake Roberts customs did come in with this particular look, which I really covet. Now you kind of get something that's, I don't want to say fake, because a lot of times that's what customs are, right? They're fake. They're repaints. You got to take yourself an original Hasbro and repaint it. But now you've got something authentic from an actual wrestling figure line producing actual wrestlers. So it was nice to get this particular one up there. And even the way that the body, the way he just kind of holds Damien is pretty spectacular, right? Unlike the other two that had the snake actually wrapped around his body in the photograph, it's the first time you kind of see him just having the snake off to the side, so that's pretty cool. And of course, we look at the graphics on the back of the card. Of course, this figure comes with yet another baggie. And what was that? Is that a cobra? This is a cobra. Check that out. That's actually a pretty, you know, terrifying look inside the mouth of the snake. So this one is really, I like this one a lot. It has the hand partially open, of course, to hold the snake. These babies are going to display beautifully. And just a beautiful look from the head sculpt. Pants. I love that black with the open flame design on the pants. This is got to be my favorite. And like I said, the way that the Cobra collar stares you down, insanely good, guys. I would have liked if they actually swapped out the snakeskin boots for something different, but all in all, I mean, this is a solid piece. Snake, again, I mean, all the snakes pretty much have the same feel to it. A hardened rubber. It's still rubber. It's still going to be movable, but not as soft as the original Hasbro run. But I think with the way that they hold the snakes, that makes sense. You want something stiff because you want the snake to be looking right at you, right? You don't want the heads to kind of be dipping over like so. So as far as the stiffness of the snake, with the way that they hold them, makes a lot of sense, and it wraps around the body beautifully. So I'm enthusiastic with the way that they kind of design the snake in regards to these particular figures. Now, because he's got two closed hands, what can I do with this other than just kind of wrap around his head? Now, maybe I could just keep it inside the actual baggie, but I don't want to do that. Yeah. Maybe something like this would look good. If I could get this tail to not... it's wrapped around his groin. That's fine. It's adequate, man. And the baggies, I'll probably just wrap around their hands. That way they keep all the accessories together. But Jake Roberts in green. Jake Roberts in white. Again, snake inside the baggie. And Jake Roberts in black. Great. Well, very easy, simple review today, guys. Nothing super flashy. I just got these in, so I definitely wanted to put out a video for you guys so you can see the new releases. And if you are interested, if you haven't picked them up before, they should be still available on Hasstel Toys website. So... and I think they're still affordable. I don't think they're like crazy price like the last set of Diesel figures where you were paying $60, $70 per figure. I think these are about $40, $45 each, if I'm not mistaken. So normal figure is about $40. These might be a little bit more expensive, $45, but I would recommend at least picking up your favorite if you haven't already done so. And yeah, that'll be it for now, guys. Per usual, we are still going to continue to put out our daily short videos looking at Holy Grail items that are part of this collection until I run out of Grail items to look at. So we're going to start the Holy Grails and we'll work our way down to just regular Grails, things that are important to me personally. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care, everybody.